Today we'll be discussing Erich Fromm's Escape from Freedom, which discusses how people can be overwhelmed by decision-making and how they make mistakes when trying to avoid it. We will also be dipping into other books, including works of fiction, with reference to Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, George Orwell's 1984, Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and Frank Herbert's Dune. Fromm's central argument is that freedom is a double-edged condition. On the one hand, it is the foundation of individuality, creativity, and human dignity. On the other hand, it produces anxiety, isolation, and a burden of responsibility that many people find intolerable. As a result, individuals often attempt to escape from freedom by submitting to authority, conforming to the majority, or immersing themselves in distractions. This tension between freedom and escape can be seen clearly when we place Fromm's work alongside Huxley's Brave New World or Orwell's 1984. Orwell presents a society where freedom has been destroyed through fear, violence, and constant surveillance. Citizens are coerced into obedience. By contrast, Huxley imagines a society where freedom has been eroded through comfort, pleasure, and distraction. People are conditioned to avoid pain, and therefore they never question their lack of autonomy. Both texts illustrate the psychological patterns Fromm describes. Faced with the anxiety of self-determination, individuals are tempted to surrender their freedom, either to oppressive power or to the soothing comfort of manufactured happiness. Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck offers a modern perspective that aligns closely with Fromm's analysis. Manson argues that the attempt to avoid all suffering is not only impossible, but also destructive to meaning. Instead, individuals must learn to choose their struggles wisely. This echoes Fromm's insight that genuine freedom requires the courage to face anxiety and responsibility rather than flee from them. Where Huxley shows a society destroyed by the pursuit of endless comfort, Manson reminds us that discomfort and limitation are essential to a meaningful life. Frank Herbert's Dune takes this further by framing the problem of freedom in terms of fear and human destiny. One of the most famous lines in the novel is, "Fear is the mind killer." For Herbert, the ability to confront and master fear is what distinguishes humans from those who remain trapped by instinct or manipulation. Paul Atreides' survival of the Bene Gesserit test with the Gon Jabbar demonstrates precisely what Fromm describes. True freedom is inseparable from responsibility, self-mastery, and the willingness to endure suffering. In Dune, as in Escape from Freedom, the challenge is not simply personal, but civilizational. Societies that fail to confront fear and responsibility risk falling into tyranny, fanaticism, or ecological collapse. Taken together, these texts highlight the enduring relevance of Fromm's thesis. 1984 warns of freedom destroyed through external oppression. Brave New World warns of freedom surrendered to shallow pleasure. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck reframes the problem in contemporary terms, reminding us that responsibility and chosen struggle are necessary for meaning and authentic lasting happiness. Dune illustrates the importance of overcoming fear and embracing our shared responsibility for the survival of both individuals and societies. Fromm's advice in Escape from Freedom can be distilled into three main practices. Live authentically by creating, loving, and expressing yourself. One of his solutions is spontaneous activity, creative expression, love, and meaningful work that comes from genuine selfhood rather than external expectations. By engaging in authentic acts, individuals overcome feelings of isolation and find fulfillment without needing to submit to authoritarianism or empty consumerism. Accept responsibility rather than fleeing from it. Fromm distinguishes between freedom from and freedom to. Freedom from is from external authority or constraints, while freedom to is the freedom to create, to act, and to be oneself. He argues that people must move beyond freedom from towards freedom to, by taking responsibility for their lives instead of surrendering it to external systems of control or conformity. He also stresses that true freedom requires the courage to take responsibility for one's choices. Avoiding responsibility through conformity, authoritarianism, or distraction may feel easier, but it destroys individuality and humanity in the long run. Be supportive of other people's attempts to be creative and unique individuals. Freedom cannot survive in isolation. To avoid loneliness and anxiety, humans must develop relationships based on love, care, and respect, rather than domination or dependency. This kind of connection affirms individuality while also meeting the deep need for belonging. In conclusion, escape from freedom remains significant because it identifies the psychological roots of submission and conformity. Freedom is not merely a political condition, it is a psychological challenge. Many people will seek to escape from it, whether through fear, distraction, or conformity. The texts I discuss here serve as illustrations of this critical dilemma. They remind us that the preservation of freedom requires courage, responsibility, and the acceptance of suffering as an essential part of human life.
MA